Hey, greetings, parents. In 4B, we are so excited because we just took a peek at our writing from the beginning of the year. Yeah. And so, what we want to show you right now is where we started and then how far did we go. Sometimes you know more how far you went when you look at where you started. And that's the whole point of today. So, all the fourth graders are going to show where they started and where they are now. Yahoo! It's going to be fun. Hey, here we have Jordan, and there at the top is his whole essay, isn't it? Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about your beginning essay of the year. What do you or don't you have?
So I don't have background and hooks. All I have is evidence.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Not too much of that. But then, whoa, here's one of his end of the year essays.
But at the end of the year, I had background and
Show us what you have.
squash. The plant closed its hairy mouth. As the bug was turning into gooey liquid, it was sucking up the nutrients. But on the other side of the world, cold breeze air was blowing the penguin. The penguin was keeping the egg safe from the cold, freezing ground.
Wow. And so what's so cool about that first paragraph? He's giving us a picture. And I love the adjectives like the plant closes its hairy mouth. Because he was talking about carnivorous plants. And I love that phrase at the beginning. As the bug was turning into gooey liquid, it was sucking up nutrients. And then he tells about on the other side of the world. And then comes your main idea hook questions, right?
Yep. The hook was the best because it was talking about like the story.
Yeah.
And
no kidding.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a bug in a trap? That's exactly what this is about. Like insects, flies, and like flies and insects. Or do you know some plants are carnivores? Have you ever seen a bird lay eggs? So you covered both articles that you read and then look at all your amazing evidence. Yahoo! Jordan! Here we have Darnell, and your beginning of the year essay is nothing. I know, that's so awesome because look what you have later. Oh, look at your good hooks. You want to tell us about them? You were reading about Ruby Bridges and Martin Luther King, weren't you? And tell me about your good hooks.
So my hooks, like it just got in my head because when I was reading the story, it said that like you couldn't Ruby Bridges couldn't drink out the same fountain.
Yeah.
And
go to a school with white kids. Yeah.
And Martin Luther King, Jr. He had to sit in the back of the bus.
Yeah. So as good hooks are, have you ever been in a school that could let you drink out of the same fountain, or could not go to the same school, or getting bullied, or had to sit in the back? Well, Martin Luther King did. And another thing is that Ruby Bridges did the same. And then, there goes all of his evidence. Man, what a feat of growth, Darnell. Beautiful. Hats off to you. Oh, here we have Santiago, who's come so far too. Here's your essay at the beginning of the year. Tell us about it.
So I didn't really think about anything.
Oh, did you hear him say he didn't really think about anything? But then, look later in the year, what did you do?
So when I read the story, I got an idea of what I was supposed to do.
And he has beautiful hook questions. Have you ever seen someone give a speech on civil rights? Or do you know what civil rights is? And then he goes on to tell all about it. You were reading about Martin Luther King and Ruby Bridges, and you have a flood of evidence.
I know, right?
No.
So good.
It is. You should be. I am too. Nice job. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Here we have Eli. Look at him at the start of the year. Your essay was one sentence, wasn't it? Yeah. And then look. Middle of the year, he writes what? Let's read that.
Have you ever not wanted to go on a vacation with your family? It was a day the sun was setting and the clouds were getting dark and blending in with the sky.
Wow.
There's
Did you hear that
boy
back?
named Seth.
Yeah.
And that boy did not want to do something.
Yeah, but ended up liking it. And look at that background. It was a day the sun was setting and the clouds were getting dark and blending in with the sky. And then you did end of the year too. Okay, so the last one was middle of the year. Gigantic rocks were slowly floating through space, slowly moving through the dark atmosphere. Finally, you see some light. Almost to your destination on Mars. You can't wait. Wow, just beautiful writing.
Wait.
I like your last sentence there. The old rusty Perseverance was so cold it was almost frozen. Wow. And the sentence before that, you just looking at the screen on Rover makes you feel like you're actually on Mars. Beautiful writing. You have come so far. Good for you, Eli. Awesome. Sebastian, master writer, and we just can't believe how you started. So it's this little yellow at the top, and that was your essay, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did nothing because I didn't get it. I didn't.
And then end of the year. Do you want to tell us about that?
Okay. Have you ever heard of the tremendous ISS? Have you ever wondered how it happened? Do you know about the Cold War?
Yes, and you started out with main idea hooks, didn't you?
Yep.
And then you went on to background, didn't you?
In the sky, there might seem to be anything except the fluffy white clouds. But in the quiet, dark void called space is something that is a massive thing called the International Space Station, or the ISS. Once inside, there are scientists not just from the United States, but other countries.
Wow. And then all of your evidence, which you are so known for, your evidence that never ends. And your conclusion at the end.
What do you think about the Cold War? How would you feel if you were inside the ISS? How do you think this collaboration is? This is an example of working together.
Wow, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Couldn't be more proud of you.
What are we doing?
Hey, here we have Matthew, who's come so far, and your beginning of the year essay had nothing. Yeah. And let's see. And here's the one you were comparing chickens and cats. And who is the better mother?
I think cats are because
Right. So how did you start yours?
I
So
started.
you want to read what you have at the beginning?
Have you ever seen a cat or a chicken keep their babies safe? Are you really good at taking care of babies?
Nice. And then you have background, peep, peep.
Peep, peep, mother chicken call their babies when they are predators or it's time for them to get fed. And when the chickens try to hide the babies, they move their wings up and
Sweet.
hide them.
And so your essay just goes on and on. That's one of the things you've gotten good at, is writing a lot and evidence to support your main idea. Beautiful job, Matthew. You have come so far. He came not very long ago, and he started writing just a lot more, starting to use background, hooks. Like, have you ever been heartbroken for the death of a pet? So he's just come a long ways and not very long. Awesome. Thank you, Leighton. Here we go. Oh. Here we have Layla Worrell, and look at her essay at the beginning of the year, which wasn't bad. She starts out even with a question hook. Did you know, James? But that's all you wrote. That was your whole essay, wasn't it? Go a few months later, and whoa, she was writing about the rover on Mars. And why is that so amazing good?
It's because I said 3, 2, 1, blast off at the beginning, and I made Perseverance talk like not other robots.
Like it's a person. It's called personification. And so, wow, beautiful. And then you have other words that make it classy. After 7 months in February 2021, he eventually made it to listen to these adjectives. The frigid red planet. Beautiful. And then look at that. As appearance was studying samples to find life on the little red planet. But what is the red planet? And then comes her question hooks. And then comes all of her evidence. Ooh, and look at her good question at the end. So do you think Perseverance will find life? It's like bravo, bravo, bravo. Beautiful writing. Yahoo, Layla.
Yahoo!
And another one who went from 0 to 60 in 1 year. There was your essay at the start of the year?
And
Wow.
she likes him. Yeah, I wasn't very good.
Oh, but look what you did this year. and look at this. You say, picture this. You're an Arctic fox. And you want to keep going?
So the reason why that's also super cool is because from the start of the year I could barely write anything, like
I
one
know.
sentence, and then I went from barely writing anything to writing whole
How
essays.
did you do that?
You just have to focus.
Yeah.
And
Well, and you did voice typing for a while too.
Yeah.
And that was a nice transition.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, you're somehow just doing it all on your own. So you had that beautiful hook at the beginning.
And my questions.
Yeah, I love that. Picture this. You're an Arctic fox. Wait, no, you're a wood frog.
Yeah, I like tried putting every single
Yes,
animal in
yes.
as I could.
Because you were reading about how animals survive in harsh environments.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. And then look at all of his evidence. Oh, man. Damien, is that you?
Wait, go all the way down.
Yeah. Cool. Beautiful job. Amazing. Look at your essay at the beginning of the year. She was going on a hike, period. That was it, wasn't it? Look what you're doing now. Oh, look at this essay. Isn't that cool? What'd you do in that made it so good?
I added
Yeah, he's got amazing words. Buzz, buzz. That's onomatopoeia. Snap. The fly was trapped as it rapidly flies. Then it realized there was no hope. Can you give us a total picture of that carnivorous plant just eating it up? But before this, it saw two other flies get stuck. And then comes your hook questions. Have you ever seen a fly trap? Do you know what a carnivorous plant is? And then he tells all about them. And you went from writing not much to writing a lot, and writing it well too. Warren. Sweet. It's amazing. Good for you. So here's Kimber, and she came mid-year probably, right? And I remember for the longest time you wrote, I don't know how you pulled it off, but there's sort of beginning of the year where she'd have just a few sentences, and now you're doing just amazing things. Like, as the toasting hot sun burns the bunny's fur, the house bunnies are fighting about a bathing suit, and they leave for Carrot Beach. And then comes your whole questions. Have you ever been to the beach? Have you ever gone to a carrot farm? Have you ever seen a rabbit? And then, wow, you just keep going. What makes your writing so good?
That you are more interested in it.
Yes. You read it because you want to, because you make it interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. And evidence too. Wow. It is so rare someone rises that high in such a short time. I'm so proud of you. Good job, Kimber. Bravo.
Hey.
We have Mr. Bluefinger, also known as Zachary Morgan. Yeah. And I was smiling and laughing because that was your essay at the beginning of the year, wasn't it?
Yes.
That one or two sentences.
I just I wasn't really good with writing and spelling. And now I got better at all that stuff.
Wow. Good for you.
Like that hook, the green grass gets in her eyes as she stomps through the messy floor of Mother Nature. Beep, beep, Papa's alarm goes.
Wow.
That's the end of my hook.
And as she stomps through the messy flooring of Mother Nature, that is like just astounding.
It just randomly came to my head after I put that.
Wow. It's just gorgeous. And the more you write, the easier it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just like when you write more, you know the word.
Yeah.
You know how to spell the words. You know what they look like, and then you think more of what you can put for it.
Bravo.
Now I'm gonna string my fingers.
Good job, Zachary. You are awesome again. Hey, here we have Adiella, who's writing at the beginning of the year. Showed you wrote just a little bit, didn't you, all the time for a long time. What are you doing now? What happened?
I wrote some more
Yeah. Write more. How'd you write more?
because I was keep on reading.
Yes, you keep on reading. That's a key. Wow. And I like your hook. Have you ever heard of capybaras? Capybaras? Nice. Nice job. You've come so far, Adiela. Way to go. Okay. So here is Chelsea. This was your essay at the beginning of the year. Yep. And here's later. What do you have now that you didn't have then?
Probably a better hook.
Yep, you did. You did. And you've got more evidence. You still could have more. What are you going to do to help yourself get even more?
I could like put more powerful words in there and like get like
Gather evidence. We take notes when we read.
and write notes.
Yep. Okay, great. Thanks, Adrian. And look at his essay at the beginning of the year. You didn't have much, did you? No. No. But then what are you starting to do?
I'm starting to focus.
Yeah. And get a lot more written. You have a hook. Have you ever hosted a food drive?
But if not, do it.
And then you have background wine, a white cold dog, in an animal shelter, whines for food.
Poor dog.
And then you you have evidence about the school, but then you talk about building the natural habitat for birds too.
Yeah.
Yeah, look how far you've come. Wow. Nice job, Adrian. Okay, that's good. Hey, here we have Camille. She's come so far this year. Look at your writing at the beginning of the year. Yep. And then what are you doing now that makes it so much better?
I'm giving adjectives and background and pictures about it.
You are. Like it's a sunny and beautiful, bright day. The sun is shining. Nice. And she's writing more and more all the time, aren't you?
Yes.
Wow. Splendid job, Camille. Yahoo. Hey, here we have Cadence. Look at her essay at the beginning of the year. Not too bad. What don't you have then, though, that you do now?
I don't have any background. That question was actually like what I was trying to answer.
Oh, okay.
So I used my own question.
Yeah.
And I added a conclusion too.
Wow.
And I have more evidence.
Yeah. And then, but drum roll. Look what you're writing now. What parts of this are so good?
The Zoom's clock. The giant bird calls out the gray, dead-looking trees rapidly fall away as some burn.
Wow.
When I say giant, I mean a bird with the beak size of a man, giraffe-sized neck, and a set of wings the size of a fighter jet. In the forest, it's not a little sparrow. There's only these birds left in this mysterious time. The giant bones from the ones who ruled the land lay deep in a pool of mud, millions of years ago.
And then you have your hook questions. Can you guess who was newly born? And then you have a flood of evidence following that. Wow. Your writing has just become supreme. Bravo. Cadence.
What I've done now compared to what I used to do, I could like change this into a better, longer, with more information.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Your evidence is supreme. Yahoo. Nice job. Look at your essay at the beginning of the year. 2 whole sentences, right? Yeah. And then look what you're writing now. Swish, or no, shake, shake. What's that? It's a rocket. And so tell us what you're doing now that you weren't doing then.
So basically what I was not doing then, I was in just background and questions.
Yeah, background and questions. And you still want to write more, don't you? Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Well, I'm gonna read the story first. I'm gonna take notes on it, and I'm understand.
Yep, that's the key to good writing is to understand what you read.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to know what the question is too.
Beautiful. Good job, Sayana. Hey, here we have Azryan. Look at your beginning of your writing right there. And what are you doing now that you didn't do then?
I read the story 3 times.
Yes, you read it really well. Good for you.
It took so I understand what to write.
Sweet. And I notice you have question hooks. Yep. And you have lots of evidence. And I like that question. Did you know that Ruby was the first African American in a white elementary school? Beautiful. So, and look at all of your evidence, and you have a conclusion at the end too. Wow. Yahoo as Ryan. Gosh, here we are with Rosaline, and look at your writing sample at the beginning of the year. That was your whole essay, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What don't you have on that one that you do so well now?
I don't have hooks.
No.
Or background.
Or background. And here she did just ravishing writing all year long. Read the first paragraph really loud so we just get a picture of what you do.
It was warm, but a cool, chalky breeze rose through the air. The grayish sky showed brightly. The sound of pictures clicked like if someone were to tap on a table. Tracks were created in the rocky ground. No sound was made. It was lifeless.
Wow.
It took samples. It was stored in a very safe place.
Yeah. So here she is, giving us a picture. We don't even know you're doing about the Mars rover yet, do we? No, but you're giving a picture. It was warm, but a cool, chalky breeze rose through the air. The grayish sky, because that's the color the sky is on Mars, isn't it? So you're keep putting the facts in there. Showed brightly. Wow. And I love that. Tracks were created in the rocky ground. And then you have a lot of questions to engage the reader and make them wonder what you're talking about. And you finally let them know you're talking about Mars, don't you? And then there's all of your great evidence. And then you end with that beautiful question. Do you think Mars can carry life? I mean, just stunning. Because that's what this whole thing was about, wasn't it? Bravo. Just supreme writing all year long. Good for you. I'm going to show you his amazing writing. He came mid-year and his writing was really plain. And oh my gosh, he listened and worked and came through with amazing colors. Here's one of his where he was writing about how animals survive in harsh conditions. And it starts out like this in his background paragraph. Shh, shh. The lonely, biscuit-colored, spunky camel. Did you hear those adjectives? Trotted through the burning, tannish sand as the hot, gleaming sun shined on its dirty skin. And then he switches to another animal. On the bottom of the earth, Snap, the Arctic fox, snatched the white polar bear's freshly caught fish and dashed toward the woods. When an angry polar bear turns its head around, all it sees is a dead frog. Or is it dead? So he was involving many of the animals that were in this reading. And then comes this question, Hooks, why is the frog pretending to be dead? Why didn't the fox find its own food? Why is the camel in the desert? Why? And then here's all of his paragraphs with floods of evidence, a hook on every one. Just bravo, beautiful writing. Chad, Yahoo to you. So you may think that bravo good writing just happens automatically. Well, wouldn't that be nice and easy if that were the case? As a matter of fact, that's not what happened. Every day this year in fourth grade, the students would write an essay. In fact, here in their Google Classroom, you'll see all the essays they wrote. Every day they would write one. And what would happen is they would read and they would know what the question is for the writing and they would take notes. Yep. And then they would have evidence for their writing. So each time we wrote, we'd be focusing on different strategies, like maybe using beginning question hooks, main idea hooks. So you don't just do your main idea in a boring sentence, but you do it in a question hook. And then we started adding background and adjectives and adverbs and vibrant nouns and verbs. And then as students would write, we would post their writing on the screen. And so we would learn how writers write. So we'd look and savor at all the students writing and we'd learn from each other. So as you see all the essays that students wrote this year, that's how we gradually climbed the mountain to be the writers that they are. So actually it was quite a feat of energy and rigor to have them grow to that level. So Yahoo to all the writers in 4B.